The man flicked away his cigarette, then picked up a sniper rifle and aimed it at the hedge fund broker who had torn his family apart. With a single gunshot, the broker collapsed. He then turned the rifle toward the Wall Street building, targeting the financial elites who were watching the chaos unfold. Jim believed every one of them was a cold-blooded vampire sucking the lifeblood from others. He wanted to unleash his fury on behalf of the countless everyday people who had been conned into financial ruin. After a round of indiscriminate shooting, Jim pulled out 2 grenades, stuffed the rifle into his coat, poured gasoline everywhere, and lit it all on fire to destroy the evidence. Then he calmly crossed the street, put on a white mask, and boldly walked into the building across the way. No one noticed him, as everyone's attention was fixed on the windows and the mayhem outside. Jim made it into the elevator and pressed the button for the floor where the firm that sold him the fund was located. Inside the firm, the employees were busily working while Jim walked in with a gun. He aimed it at a fund manager and was about to fire when he caught sight of a photo on the desk.
Please, my wife, she's pregnant.
Jim hesitated for a moment. He thought of his wife and decided to spare the man, but the others in the firm wouldn't be so lucky.
Get back to your wife and be thankful you.
Jim charged into the office and began firing wildly at everyone inside. Each shot took down a target, a brutal release of all his bottled-up rage. But there were simply too many fraudsters. Jim couldn't shoot them all, so he dropped the gun, pulled the pin on a grenade, and tossed it into the crowd. After the explosion, Jim picked up his gun again and continued mowing down the survivors. At that moment, the office had become a living hell. No one could escape Jim's fury. By then, heavily armed SWAT units had arrived and were rushing to the floor where Jim was. Meanwhile, Jim entered the office of the firm's boss. He drove out the 2 secretaries and finally came face to face with the man who had taken everything from him. But Jim didn't shoot right away. Instead, he forced the boss to stand across the desk while he sat down in the boss's chair and removed his mask. Even with a gun pointed at him, the boss remained calm. After hearing Jim's motive, he didn't show a hint of remorse. Instead, he began mocking Jim. He said no one in this world ever got rich by doing honest business in the city. He and his descendants would always sit at the top of society, while poor people like Jim would always be exploited by people like him. Jim was left speechless. He glanced at the security monitors and ultimately decided to play a game with the man who had ruined him.